What is up, everybody? My name is Logan Sharon, and welcome to CTF Sharon Talks Football. Today, I will be giving you guys my Week 8 NFL predictions. Now, before we get started here, I wanted to bring you some NFL news that just happened this morning, and that is DeAndre Hopkins got traded to the Chiefs. I think that's going to be a great move for him and the team because I think he still has a little bit in the tank to go. And plus, Xavier Worthy just hasn't been putting up the same production since Week 1. And Rashee Rice has been hurt, so that's been missing for a bit. They've been missing that spark for the last few weeks at receiver. So I think he will bring it to the table, and I think he's still got enough to bring the Chiefs what they want. Now, before we get started, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos whenever I post. All right, now we got all that covered. Let's get started. All right, everybody, so coming off of Week 7, I ended up with a 10-5 record, and now my total record is 64-45. I think that's a pretty good record now that because the midseason I was kind of struggling because these weeks have just become so unpredictable. But weeks 5 through now, it's been pretty good. I've been getting a lot more games right, and I've just had a better idea of what teams look like. So I think it's just going to get better in the future, hopefully. So let's just keep it up. Anyways, our first game we got is Thursday Night Football, and it's the Minnesota Vikings at the LA Rams. I've got the Minnesota Vikings taking it pretty convincingly, 28-13. I am aware for the Rams that Cooper Kupp is expected to be playing. That's great. But even still, the Rams defense is hot ass, and the Vikings are just hot right now. Even though they did end up with a loss, they still looked really good losing. Plus, the Vikings defense is the second best defense in all of football right now, and their offense is near the top 15, probably top 10 right now. So, and I think they're a way more complete team. This might be a little controversial, maybe a better coach team. Kevin O'Connell is so great at finding his quarterbacks and knowing what their strengths and weaknesses are and knowing how to use them to their advantage. So I've got the Vikings winning this one pretty convincingly. Jumping into the Sunday games now, we've got the Philadelphia Eagles at the Cincinnati Bengals. This might be crazy, but I've gotten upset here. I've got the Bengals taking it 24-21. The Bengals have looked pretty decent throughout the last couple weeks, and then the Eagles just haven't looked that great despite winning. They just haven't been looking impressive, and I just want an excuse for Nick Sirianni to get fired because I think he's a tool. Plus, I think the Bengals are completely capable of pulling this game off because they've looked pretty damn good. Joe Burrow has not missed a step. He's looked awesome. Jamar Chase has done the most he could, and T. Higgins has been good when healthy. So I think the Bengals will take the Eagles here, and I think they will finally have a somewhat positive record. Next game we got is the Baltimore Ravens at the Cleveland Browns. This one's going to be an ass beating. I've got the Ravens taking it 41-13. Look, the Browns don't have Deshaun Watson anymore. He tore his Achilles, and other than that, they have Thompson and famous Jameis, but they don't really have anybody to play quarterback. And the Ravens are red hot right now. They just beat the Tampa Bay Buccaneers on Monday Night Football, and they have looked absolutely unstoppable. Lamar Jackson having an MVP-look season again. Derrick Henry playing like the best running back in the league right now. So I think it's going to take a while for the Ravens to lose, and I think this game the Ravens will keep on with their winning streak. They will end up 6-2. Next game we've got the Tennessee Titans at the Detroit Lions now. Before I say anything, did you know that in 4 weeks in the NFL, the Lions have scored 18 touchdowns while only having 16 incompletions? Shout out to Clayton Hardy for that fun fact. I didn't know that, but that is crazy. Shout out to that guy. So fun fact out of the way, I've got the Detroit Lions winning very convincingly 38-13. Just like the Ravens, the Detroit Lions are red hot right now. They have looked absolutely great. They have looked great against good teams, bad teams, and the really good teams. And right now, the Titans have looked pretty damn bad, having Mason Rudolph taking the start, but that not being good enough against the Bills. And their offense just is not clicking on when it comes to passing, and their defense is just getting gassed because the offense just can't get it done. So for those reasons alone, I've got the Lions taking it, and I think they improved to 6-1, best team in the NFC right now. Next game we got the Arizona Cardinals at the Miami Dolphins. Now, Tua is expected to be playing in this game, so I'm making this pick thinking Tua is going to play, and I've got the Dolphins finally having a convincing win, 27-24. When I say convincing, I mean their offense finally looks decent because Tua brings that chemistry to that offense that no other quarterback has been able to bring to that team. But I do think this game is going to be close because Arizona has been known for hanging into games that they probably shouldn't. And also the Dolphins' defense is terrible. So I think this game is going to be a close one. Probably a pretty good one. But I do think the Dolphins finally get a win and the fans have something to celebrate about. Next game we've got is the New York Jets at the New England Patriots. This one's going to be really boring, but I've got the Jets winning this one 27-17. Simply put, the Jets just have a better roster. They just have better QB. They just have a better offense. They have a better defense. The Patriots are absolutely awful. At this point, just try to tank to get a good draft pick. Drake May will always show flashes of being good. That's all you have to be excited about this season. The Patriots just have no offensive line. They have no offense, and they have a little bit of defense, but it's been getting hurt and injured. So the Patriots are just not going to win this game at all, and I think the Jets are going to play a little pissed off because they lost to the Steelers. And I think Devontae Adams is going to have a great game. So I got the Jets winning this one. Next game we got is the Atlanta Falcons at the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Now, if this was healthy rosters, I would possibly give this one to the Bucs. And this would be a lot harder of a game to predict. But because Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are both expected to not be playing this game, I've got the Falcons winning this one 31-17. Look, man, without Mike Evans and Chris Godwin and Cameron Otten being the only one available to throw the ball to. We already saw it towards the end of the Monday night game against the Ravens. They struggled to move the ball, and the run game is pretty decent, but also pretty spotty, so you can't expect them to lead the game at all. And the defense is good when it comes to the run, but to the pass is what I worry about, and the Falcons have been pretty decent at passing the ball this year, so I think the Falcons just having the edge injury-wise and also just having a better pass game to go against the Bucs in this one because their defense is not that great. I think the Falcons are going to win this one. It sucks that Mike Evans and Chris Godwin are out because I'd love to see a part 2 to like how Thursday Night Football was because that was a great game. So, yep, Falcons win this one. Next game we got is the Green Bay Packers at the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, this would be a lot more of an interesting game if this was last year because the Jaguars were just way better of a team than they are now. But the Packers have been red hot this year, and the Jaguars just haven't been able to get anything going. So I've got the Packers winning this one pretty convincingly, 35-17. I will say about the Jaguars, I've seen flashes of greatness out of their defense. They've looked pretty good throughout times. But just like the Titans, with their defense, their offense just can't get anything going, and their defense just ends up getting gas later in the game. So I see the same thing happening in this game because the Packers have been red hot so far this year. And they have just had a way better team, a way better roster, and they're way better coach. So for those reasons alone, I've got the Packers winning this one. So I think it's going to be a good week for the Packers. Next game we got is the Indianapolis Colts at the Houston Texans. Now, I have this game being a lot closer than it should be, but I've got the Houston Texans winning this one 35-24. The Texans are coming off a hard loss against the Packers at Lambeau, with only losing by 2. That one's a pretty hard one to swallow. But I think them being at home against a division rival, they're going to be playing pissed off enough to convincingly win this game. But we have also seen the Colts being able to score the ball. So I think the Colts are going to keep up a little bit, but I think it won't be good enough to beat the Texans here. So I got the Texans winning this one. Next game we got is the New Orleans Saints at the LA Chargers. Now, both of these teams are coming off really hard losses, one of them being absolutely exposed to one losing to a field goal at the end. But despite all that, I've got the LA Chargers winning this one 23-20. Simply put, the Chargers are just way better coached than the Saints are. I would think after last week against the Broncos for the Saints, Dennis Allen would be gone, but apparently not. I don't know what they're doing. But until he's gone, I don't see us winning a single game. And I just want an excuse for him to be fired because he has been here for 3 years and he's been absolutely terrible. So I think him losing this game will actually be a good thing because maybe it will show he's not great after all, and I just want him to be fired. Next game we got is a pretty decent one in my opinion. The Buffalo Bills at the Seattle Seahawks. Now, both of these teams are coming off big wins last week, but I think the Bills will take this one 31-27. The Seahawks have shown they've had an explosive offense all year this year, but I think the Bills' defense will do enough to keep themselves ahead, and I think the Bills finally have that spark on offense with Amari Cooper, and also Keon Coleman had a great game last week, so that was great to see, so that gives a lot of hope, and I just think the Bills are just a better team in general. This will be a good, close one, but I think the Bills will be the better team in this one, and I think the Bills will win. Next game we got is one of the more boring ones of the week, but we got the Carolina Panthers at the Denver Broncos. This one's pretty easy. I'm picking the Broncos 37-10. Simply put, the Panthers are terrible, Brent, man. They haven't changed a thing. Their offense looks awful, even with Andy Dalton playing, and their defense is decent, but they keep getting gassed every single week because their offense cannot do anything. The Broncos came off of a huge win against the Saints, and they have proved their defense can lead them to games, and their offense is decent enough to win a game. So I think that alone, also going against the Panthers, should be a good game to win. I think the Broncos will sit at 5-3 and have the rest of the NFL world shocked. I think the Broncos will have a huge win in this one, and I think the Broncos will surprise people. Next game we got is the Kansas City Chiefs at the Las Vegas Raiders. I've got the Raiders leading in this game pretty early throughout this first half, but I think the Chiefs will finally stop their shenanigans and pull it through, and I think they will end up winning 34-17. I have this game turning into a blowout at the end because the Chiefs are obviously the better team, and the Raiders are not in a good spot right now because both quarterbacks are terrible, and they've had players getting traded out of there they want gone. And I think at this point, for the Raiders, I think they should start tanking so they can get a high draft pick. Hopefully they pick a good one. But I think the Chiefs will obviously win this one just because they're the way better team. And I think, sadly, the Chiefs will move on to 7-0. Next game we got is, in my opinion, the game of the week, the Chicago Bears at the Washington Commanders. This will be a great one, both led by two really good rookie quarterbacks, but I've got the Commanders winning this one 31-28. I could see the Bears winning this one if it was at home, but I think since it's at Washington, I think the Commanders will be a little bit better in this one, and I think the Commanders will have the edge. I do believe Jaden Daniels will be able to play in this game. It shows questionable, so I do think he will be able to play. And then the Bears, as much as they have a great defense, I think the Commanders just have a really good offense, and Jaden Daniels knows how to read corners really well. So I think the Commanders will have the edge in this one, but this will be an absolutely phenomenal game, and I think both of these teams' skill players will be great to have in fantasy this week. Next game we got is the Sunday Night Football game. It is the return of the Dallas Cowboys versus the San Francisco 49ers rivalry. I've always loved this rivalry. It's always been really entertaining to watch. Both teams absolutely hate each other, and I've always hated the Cowboys, so I've always wanted them to lose. And I think they will lose in this one. The Niners will win 35-14. Both teams have been absolutely underperforming this year, especially the Niners, just because of that roster they have, despite the injuries. The injuries are tough, I know. But I think since it's at home and the Niners still have a little bit of spark on offense and defense, I think they will pull it through against the Cowboys because at least the Niners still have a little bit to show for their team, while the Cowboys, every single week going against a decent team, have gotten obliterated and exposed. Plus, I just want to see the Cowboys lose to the Niners 4 times in a row. That would be absolutely hilarious. So, yeah, I got the Niners winning this one pretty convincingly once again. Finally, we've got the last game of the week, Monday Night Football. We've got the New York Giants at the Pittsburgh Steelers. I honestly don't know why the Giants are getting so many primetime games this year because of how horrible they were last year, but here we are. But I do think the Steelers will win this one shockingly close, 24-16. The Steelers did come up with a huge win against the Jets on Sunday Night Football last week, putting up more than 30 points, which is great. But knowing the Steelers and how they are, they will keep close with the Giants because both teams have very good defenses, so I think that's why they will be close by halftime. But I think the Steelers will score enough to win this game at the end. And I do think the Giants will score a little bit on offense too, but I think it won't be enough to beat the Steelers, and I think the Steelers will end up 6-2. It's kind of crazy that the Steelers are 6-2. I didn't think they were going to come even close to that. So, yeah, they've been a shocker to me this year. So, yeah, Steelers are going to win. So, there you guys have it, my Week 8 NFL predictions. I hope you enjoyed it. Don't be afraid to leave in the comments your predictions for this week. I would love to see what you guys think. It doesn't have to be just my opinion. I'd love to see yours. Once again, don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, turn on the notification bell so you don't miss any of my videos when I post. And that's it for now. I'm Logan Sharon. See you in the next one.